I've been trying to figure out why nostalgia does not feel happy.
The concept of nostalgia literally fascinates me so much because although all generations can feel nostalgia, we are currently living in a phenomenon where something as modern as the internet has never been so backwards facing. Like, if we take TikTok as an example, people are listening to old records and Walkmans and driving old cars and posting about old toys, and that collared dove that was the soundtrack to so many people's childhood has millions of people sobbing in solidarity. Because the word nostalgia means home and pain. And yet, in spite of this, the current state of modern living is making more people want to turn back the clock than ever. And I think that's because we are hyper aware of what has been, because all of our memories are digital. And so we can relive them in more vivid detail than we've ever been able to. And regarding the here and now, thanks to social media, we are constantly reminded of what we could have been and what we didn't achieve. And now we're adults. So the reality's kind of hit us that our dreams probably aren't going to come true, and a little bit of blissful ignorance has died. And the problem is, this is making us more isolated than ever, in like a whirlwind of comparison and being ambitious to the point of our own detriment and setting ridiculously high standards for ourselves. And yet through all of this, we've actually lost our purpose. Our purpose in the little things, in the art of doing, in the joy of the task, in being able to serve others rather than always serving ourselves, and basically being content in our pocket of the world. And the thing is, we are a society wrapped up in the pressure of being the main character, in spite of the fact that it's literally too expensive to live. We've got no time. We'll likely be working for somebody else until we're in our mid-70s. Not to mention our health and diet is broken. We don't move enough. We don't get good sleep. And our world is engineered to never stop, never slow down, always consume. And that includes our environment. So it's kind of easy to see why we deliberately trap ourselves in nostalgia, despite the palpable torment and melancholy. And of course, you've got the crushing notion that as we get older, we lose more people, which means that we'll do anything to remember our grandparents and our parents. And don't even get me started on how we question our own mortality, because I work in death, so I understand this better than most. I mean, the thing is, when we were kids, most of us were still blissfully ignorant. There was no misery because it hadn't happened yet. And for those whose childhood was not quite as blessed, there's also the fascinating concept of anemoia, which is a nostalgia for a past that you haven't even experienced, a past that isn't even yours, which is just as popular, and it's all relative. Because what we are yearning for is a time that felt prosperous, and a time that was filled with little joys, not big, complicated problems, a time that helped us make sense of who we are and our narrative in the world. You know, when our grandparents were young, or before Instagram was slamming perfection down our throats. And don't get me wrong, I am glad to be alive now, and I do feel that I'm starting to find a balance between technology and a simpler existence. And I want to help people do that too, because we have to find joy in the menial, because it's what makes up our everyday. And we have to be able to bring nostalgia home so that it doesn't keep feeling like this faraway thing to mourn. I mean, the sheer weight of all that alone, it means that we deserve a helping hand in navigating all of this. And so if the past really is a foreign country, then I want to be your translator.